Hi, and welcome to Sandy's Numerology. Okay, this is a big one. 2022. I have to keep referring to my notes because this is a big one. Okay. So 2022 adds to a number 6, but the year is actually about a 3 life path. And the 3 life path is about values and valuables, whether this is materialism or how you value people versus the people, the way they look, where they live, what car they drive, what suburb they live in, and how much money they've got. Be very careful because this is the year where valuables are lost. But 2022 adds to a 6. And the most important thing to cover the world in general is that this is the year that the past comes back into play. And this is going to cover what happened in 2021, which is still going to be happening through until December, is the devious, dishonest, deceitful, the politicking, the power games of the powerful at the top, whether it's government, banks, it is any of the big industries that have so much power and really do not have the people in mind. This politicking, the fraud. I mean, this is governments, town councils, municipalities, education. But this fraud, devious, underhand, politicking, money, 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 money. It's all about the money. Now, when the past comes back into play, it drags through the people that have been operating and doing negative and have been able to deflect and get people to look away from them, the famous Donald Trump, and look at others as the issue, is where people start to realize that the others that were pointed at are not the guilty ones, guilty, negative, that the people who have deflected, this is the year where the words responsibility, recognition on a negative scale comes into play and exposes. So that recognition is for people to get recognized for the negativity. Whereas the people that, for example, if you were in a company and you were blamed for something that happened and the person that was actually the underhanded person managed to stay, now they are going to be in trouble, and the person that was looked at or seen to be guilty is going to get the positive recognition. So this is also about whistleblowers. But 2022, now let's go stay on the subject of the past coming back into play. So because we've been under a lot of restrictions since 2020, and how we have been unable to work normal, and remember, normal, there's a new normal. But this is the ability to be able to bring that past back with focus and responsibility. Now, I'm not talking about South Africa per se, this is global, but South Africa's age is a 6. We're still in a 5, so there's much more to be revealed until May, June, July of 2022. But we will have our birthday on the 31st of May, and we'll be in a 6 personal. So this is about South Africa intimately, as well as it would be about other countries, depending on what numbers they are in. But this is about global. So this is about revisit, redefine. So for example, the USA video that I've done is going to be re-looking and revisiting their constitution and their laws. And this is not only about the States, this is also about other countries. But this is the inner workings of people, the mind, the body, the spirit. But it's also about companies and countries and the systems and what makes them tick, the inner workings of the recipe, the formula. The big word about a number 6 is the word love or hate. So love as in how you love mankind, how you love another person, or the word hate or hate speech, because 6 is voice. This is another important word is the word connection, connect, reconnect, or disconnect. So again, that brings kind of the past that we're going to reconnect. It's going to be very different, because this connection thing is about friends, families, children, animals, and even people that we consider to be family but are not bloodline to us. And this is where we can also start a connection with new people. This is about walking your talk. So 2022, adding to a 6, we have Mercury retrograde 4 times this year, but generally speaking, the energy is about the word communication and voice, but all forms of communicate, how we commute to work, how we commute technology-wise or communicate technology-wise. So the word communication, but this is also where communication is not easy. So what I'm going to say is, be careful what you say. Under Mercury retrograde, it can't be taken back. So the past comes back into play. So it says, as we go back, so we can move forward. It's about focus, patience. Listen so that you can hear what others are saying and where they are coming from before you react, so that you can rather respond. It's about responsibility or irresponsibility. It's about regret, action versus reaction, or is it finger pointing and blaming? Remember, he who points the finger, there's those 3 fingers pointing back at you, and the arm is owned by you. This is about the senses, but more importantly, the 6th sense. This is the inner, intuitive voice that we need to learn to listen to. So when you are thinking about somebody, and surprise, surprise, they phone you, and you say to them, I was just thinking about you. And actually, the universe your intuitive voice was telling you that they were going to phone. And that's what you've got to listen to, that inner voice, that inner intuitive voice. This is how our Sangomas connect with ancestors, or John Edwards, for example. This is how he operates. He hears a voice. So he is the the clairaudient, so to speak, and he hears messages and he's able to speak them because he's very focused. So it's also the year of OCD, ADD, ADHD. I mean, I'm sixes and I've got a 33-6, and man, I can be OCD. But I've learned, because I've got so many of them, is to learn how to focus. And I really do my best to try and listen so that I can hear what people are saying. But I need to get them to also listen and hear what I'm saying and where I'm coming from. This is about our bodies and what makes our bodies tick. Now, we've all had the jabs, and there's probably the booster jab that's going to come. And 6 is about our children and animals. And for example, in South Africa, our younger children are now being allowed to have their vaccinations. But this is also about food, poison. It's about planting seeds for the future, and this can be the physical seed or the idea, the seed, planting that seed. It's holistic homeopathic versus drugs, and we know the pharmaceutical world is trying to eliminate anything on the vitamin, natural medicine side, that you can't use medical terms. So this is going to be quite interesting, whether that industry is going to actually take a stand against the drug administrators around the world. And this is also about the word dis-ease, which is the famous Louise Hay. She separates dis and ease. And that is when you are uncomfortable, or it can be about the physical disease and why you have it, why the body actually brings it into play. And this is about our weakness in illness versus the dealing with our unease to solve our disease. It's about, importantly, insects. Now, the word that's out there for a couple of years now is about bees, but I'm talking about bees and all insects. And this is a time where we can have the invasion of the grasshoppers that kind of eat harvests, or we are going to be lacking what bees, for example, do for our ecosystem. It's about science. It's about architect, design, new ideas, inventions. It's mechanical, electrical, technical, chemical. It's about the word virus. So physical virus, or a virus, a new virus, or something that can solve it. It's about cyber attacks. It's about solar energy. It's about energy. It's about our air. It's about artificial intelligence. It's about fires and explosions. It's explosive. So whether we are exploding in our reaction or physical explosions, maybe it's a volcano, maybe it's an earthquake, but we're going to have some the hectic weather conditions. It's about alternate resources. So this is all about our solar energy. 6 is also nuclear, but we want a clean energy. We've got to watch out because of that word virus, the infections, the poisons. And for those OCD people, it's the year of aliens. This is ET deluxe. So there could be some discovery, or who knows, seeing aliens. But we've got to be careful because there's also this, in this OCD, that there's such fixations that, let's face it, what happened with our past 2 years and why we were all taking vaccinations, that there was a lot of the people that were OCD as to the origins and creating a lot of negative information out there. And we've got to watch because this year it might not be related. It could be related to other things where there's misinformation. So again, it's also what you not only will listen or hear or see or read about. Get your focus and go and check your facts. The negative is this in our Satanism and cults. We get to microorganisms, molecules, toxins, gases, petrol, petroleum, oil, sparks, vaccines, fuels, fires. Now we get to the technical, that artificial intelligence, and new and inexpensive technologies. Now this is 6 is about children and families and how we are able to connect. Fiber optics, maybe something even better than fiber optics and satellite. It's about mechanical, electrical, technical, chemical. So the mechanics of what makes things tick. So let's look at South Africa. We're having all of these, the load shedding, and people are stealing cables, and there's fires, and the maintenance that should have been happening over the years and should have happened again in 2021. This is a critical time, but it's a time to be able to go back to repair, to fix, but also to go back to old ideas that at the time they were new, but people were not ready for the new. And now's the time for the new thinking, the new ways, the new technologies, being tech savvy. It's about guns because they are also create explosions. It's about transformers and how we transform and the transformation that we as communities, people, countries, and the globe is involved in transforming how we live, how we operate, how we think, how we do. On the electrical side, there's the word disruptions, but it still gives time to go back, to move forward, to fix and repair. It is about that mind, body, spirit. So it's about the higher consciousness, frequencies, vibrations, sound, music. But this air and oxygen is also very, very important. We go back to that OCD. This is when people, number 6 is about fear, panic, obsessive, sanity or insanity, magical or magic, new ideas, new possibilities. And the thing is, how do we know what we know or think? We go back to that inner voice and that OCD, and not allow the OCD to get ahead of us. We want to be in tomorrow, but let's focus on today. And 6 means focus. But 6 is also that Gemini, the twins, the two sides. The Gemini also sees more than just the truth. Remember, things are not happening to us, but for us. And because of the word love, it says you need to open your heart. 6 is intense. And there's going to be a high intensity of what is happening in the world. So, year of reveal, review, revelations, revolution, revolts, revolutionary, disillusion and illusions. And 2021 was deception year, but this is revealing the greatest deceptions. Lots of things that we've been suspicious about. Could this also been about COVID-19? Could this have been about the vaccinations? So remember, 6 is about the 6th sense, but it includes the rest of the senses. It'll be very interesting. I always say people who are blind, deaf, or dumb, or have a physical inability, are sharper in other areas where we think because everything's okay that we are normal. No. But I wonder what will come up, that the seeing, the hearing, the smelling, the speaking, though all the senses, there's going to be new inventions. This is that darkness of the underworld where 6s bring to light. But 6, because this is viral, viruses, technology, this could be where systems collapse to become more sustainable because of new ideas, new inventions. But it's also the reaction to, which can react to the decay and the purging, but brings in ideas. But we've got to be careful of ideals and idealism. Mind, reality. Don't get lost in your thoughts. This is about mentality, logic, and how we really need to voice and speak from our hearts. So this is part 1 of Global 2022. And I've given you the meaning of the number 6. Now, everything that I've spoken about, you will see happening. but it might be driven by the name of a company or the name of a bank or a name of a government. I mean, we just, on the 27th, China launched this missile that the military, head of military in the USA, they didn't even know it because it was moving so fast, it was undetectable. Now, a missile is a number 6. And we hope nobody's going to make any mistakes to deal with technology like the missiles. But this is also about space and hybrid and new technologies in transportation. This is also where, for example, I was sitting at the dentist today and I was watching Sky News, and, you know, their refuse removal only happens every 2 weeks. I mean, Germany, potholes deluxe, South Africa, potholes deluxe. But this is when we can fix what wasn't maintained, when we can restructure structures that have not been working. How interesting it was when Michael Jackson always wore a mask and everybody thought it was weird. And guess what? We have been wearing masks. And this is also could be a better way of dealing with the word infection, viruses, disease, new recipes and formulas. I'm sorry, the pharmaceutical companies are constantly working on solutions. So let's see if we can get rid of these conspiracies and please focus on fact. But let me go back to that, taking that all that negative energy of the person who diverts attention, like Donald Trump, for example, and would like one person one moment and then call them an idiot the second moment. Well, this is where that Ghislaine Maxwell is going to be held responsible for the sexual abuse of teenage girls. This is going to expose, I think there's 600 witnesses coming to the court case, and she is going to have to carry the can for this. Well, she was involved, let's face it. So in this year, we will have Mercury retrograde 4 times. And remember that the intensity is in those 4 periods, but it is an underlying theme for the year. So we have Mercury retrograde in January, round the 13th of January to the 3rd of February. And then we have Mercury retrograde in May on the 10th through to the 3rd of June. And then Mercury retrograde in September, the 9th, 10th of September to the 1st of October. And then the last will be around the 26th, 29th, 28th, 29th of December, and flowing over into 2023. I will be looking at particular countries, and I will do a part 2 on 2022, maybe highlighting some countries and specifically South Africa. Thank you for watching Sandy's Numerology.